seeing change in Congress. But to Congresswoman Wilson's point, the Tea Party is stopping that change. And this is beyond symbolic change. This is the effort that we're seeing of Jim Crow. Some of these folks in Congress right now would love to see us as second-class citizens. Some of them in Congress right now under this Tea Party movement would love to see you and me, I'm sorry, Cameron, hanging on a tree.
Yeah.
Congressman who's it saying?
Andre Carson. Saying that some of them in Congress right now with this Tea Party movement would love to see you and me hanging on a tree. Please welcome to the Armstrong and Getty Show, Congressman Tom McClintock of the 4th District, California. Tom, how are you, sir?
Just fine, guys. Thanks for having me.
I hope you removed your hood in time to talk to us.
My experience has been when your opponent starts calling you names, you've won the argument. The left has lost the public policy debate decisively. They've lost the American people. They know it. And the more desperate they become, the more shrill they become. And what they're trying to do is intimidate the millions of Americans who are sincerely concerned about their policies to shut up and go home. And I can tell you it's not working. It's having the opposite effect.
Well, that's very interesting. So you take it as a positive sign that the argument, the Tea Party argument, is having an effect.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they tried to blame the Tea Party for the shooting of Gabrielle Giffords earlier this year until it was revealed that the attacker was a lunatic whose political views, to the extent that he had any, were decidedly to the left. They tried to blame the Tea Party for the downgrade of the nation's credit rating when it was the Tea Party that had sounded the alarm over the nation's credit rating and the excessive debt for the last 2 years. So I see this playing out very simply, and I remind folks of Gandhi's observation about the truth. First it's ridiculed, then it's viciously attacked, and then it's accepted as self-evident. So I think we're two-thirds of the way there.
Wow. You know, I wish I had your even-tempered demeanor, Tom, but the guy suggested, one of your fellow congressmen suggested that you're part of a lynch mob. I mean, that's horrifying.
Well, I mean, last year the Sacramento Bee called me a racist because they disagreed with me over immigration reform. They called me a reckless zealot a few months ago for supporting the Cut, Cap, and Balance Act that would have saved the nation's AAA credit rating. I mean, that's the hallmark of the left. They've lost the argument, and they know it. So they revert to character assassination and personal attacks, and my attitude is, let them. They're very good at it. It's all they've got left, and they're not our teachers.
Wow.
Talking with Representative Tom McClintock, do you have a Republican candidate you got your eye on for the debate coming up?
I've got a bunch of them, actually. I think there's some really solid presidential timber in that field, and the primary process is going to vet that out very nicely. I think that the Republicans are going to be very careful, not only to nominate someone who is a competent candidate, but once elected will be a competent president. We haven't always attended to those details in the past. I think Republicans are riveted on the fact that this is one we've got to get right.
We're going to talk to your buddy Thad McCotter next week. He's not polling very well, but he is a good guy.
Oh, he is a very good guy and fun to talk to too. You'll enjoy the interview.
I'd like to hear more from Gary Johnson too. That's his name, right? The governor of New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, there's a less known tier there that sometimes they break through, and again, that's what the whole primary process is about. So I'm quite content to let that play out for now. I think we're going to have a very, very solid result at the end of that process.
So you're endorsing Rick Perry then?
Oh, there are a lot of guys I like, and Rick Perry is certainly one of them. There's some that aren't in the race yet that I like Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey.
The fat man, I love him.
May get in, may not, but I think he would be dynamite. I've got a sentimental favorite in Ron Paul. I've gotten to know him very well in the Congress. He is a top-notch individual. I don't know if he's going to break out of the field, but again, there's good people in that field, and the process will produce, I think, a very solid result.
We've got to ask you about the big California story this morning, but I want to wrap up the Andre Carson thing real quickly. When you pass him on the floor of the House of Representatives, and I had the privilege, thanks in part to your wonderful staff, setting up some nice tours and stuff when we were in D.C., of standing on the floor of the House. It's not that big. When you pass him, are you just going to say, hey, Andre, how are you? How's the family?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know him personally, so I've never had any interaction with him.
Right. So there's 435 of you, so some people you get to know, but some people you really just do not, huh?
Oh, exactly right. I mean, it's a pretty big group of people to try to get to know. So you get to know the people that you serve with on committees. You get to know the people that you serve with on various task forces. But I have not had the pleasure of getting to know Mr. Andre Carson.
I don't know if you miss California politics when you only had to worry about the state and not the whole nation. But a bill may become law soon that Assemblyman Tom Amiano put through from San Francisco, where you're going to have to give your babysitter all kinds of rights as a worker, or you're going to have to hire another babysitter to come in and spell them every 2 hours for a lunch break.
Yeah, good. Good. Keep it up. Sooner or later, the people of California are going to wake up to the fact that the government has become their nanny. And my guess is when that awakening occurs, we're going to see the same kind of political shift in California that we watched across the rest of the country in 2010. I do believe that Jerry Brown, uncorked with this radical leftist legislature, is going to end up being to California what Barack Obama has been to the rest of the country, a gigantic wake-up call.
Boy, I hope you're right, and you're always the optimist, and I appreciate that. Tom McClintock, Congressman, is online. But the race card is played so successfully in California. Identity politics is so important. Republicans are bad is so entrenched in California. God, I feel like it could be 20 years to never by the time people wake up and realize, oh, micromanagement of every aspect of our lives doesn't make us happier. It ruins them.
Well, I think they have so completely overplayed the race card that people now just roll their eyes when they hear it. Again, I think that is an admission that they've lost the argument, and all they can do is try and intimidate and attack their opponents. I mean, Lincoln put it this way: he says you can't disprove Euclidean geometry by calling Euclid a liar. And the same principle applies, and everybody knows it. And that's the point.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So if you were to run into Tom Amiano in the Home Depot, do you think he would probably be carrying, I don't know, a hammer and a sickle?
No, I wonder. Well, no. I'll tell you what he would be doing. He would be telling everybody what they need to buy and how they need to run their lives. He's one of those folks that's just so good at running his own life that he feels entitled to run everybody else. And sooner or later, folks are going to get sick of that.
Well dodged, sir. Congressman Tom McClintock, the 4th District of California. Tom, God dang, it's always encouraging to talk to you.
Yeah, you are, because we're just a den of pessimism and despair, and you come in with a little good attitude.
Well, I think that this is one of the best indications that we're winning the argument that they've now conceded all of the policy debate, and all they can do is hurl racial epithets. Fine, let them. That's what they do, and it's an admission they've lost the argument.
Still on the high road, Tom McClintock. Tom, always a pleasure. Thanks.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate that attitude, but
Oh yeah, I do. I you know what? I've unknotted the noose temporarily, as I often do after talking to the Congressman.
But sometimes isn't it like? Grant now has a 2 million man army. That just shows that we're really getting to him. And then you lose the Civil War. I mean, at some point, are you just?
Although I think the facts fit his theory pretty well. I mean, that's some crazy Andre Carson. That's some crazy, wildly irresponsible rhetoric. I mean, I think maybe a better metaphor would be, General Lee claiming that the Union soldiers eat babies. I mean, that's just insane and desperate.
I guess I don't have enough. What I lack is confidence in people. A guy like Tom McClintock believes that people will make the right decision. I guess I lack confidence in people. Because a story like this whole babysitter thing, I hope that most people react to it like, are you freaking kidding me? Now it's going to be impossible for me to hire the college girl down the street to babysit my kids. I hope that people's reaction is this is ridiculous and not, well, for the safety of this.
Right. They do have rights. Well, I tell you what, the yahoos over yonder reporting on the story, there are a couple of chuckles about, oh, boy, that's something. People did not react with outrage and immediate rejection of the idea.
Just fine. Let the government taking another step toward
if the government
nuttiness.
Yeah. If the government tells you this is a good idea, there's an inclination in a large percentage of the sheeple to say, well, it must be a good idea.
I know.
It's horrifying. But I tell you what, if old Tom says that sooner or later people come around, I mean, the evidence on the national scene is undeniable. California's such a terrible case. The infection is so deeply entrenched in us. It's in our organs, in the bloodstream, in our muscles and bones. Bones, right in our bones.